the state of Michigan, the northern border state of Michigan. But originally was born and raised for the first 10 years in Crystal City, Texas, which is also close to the border. Yeah, my parents left Crystal City in '55, and so moved to East Lansing, Michigan. I'm the oldest of 11, and so my poor mom. But both of them passed about 4 years ago, but really raised some really good kids. All of them are successful, married well, chose well, and have some really great families. Why I'm here is I worked in the College of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Michigan State. So if we look at the genre of rural, you never see Mexican Americans, Hispanics in rural. It's the majority population that always gets researched, gets the attention, gets the exposure in terms of what are the rural issues. Not even farm workers are even mentioned sometimes in the rural literature. It's very small. And so for me, I've really been interested because after spending 38 years in the college and then doing the last 10 years spending time in doing census counts in the new farm owner operators within Michigan and across the country, started to unearth that the fastest growing number of new farmers are Mexican, predominantly Mexican, some Guatemalans, but predominantly Mexicans. And it's totally under the radar. And so when you look at policy, agriculture policy, it's really addressing the problem of 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Not really looking at the present problems or the present issues and what what these concerns can be did for the future. And I've always had a perspective that food is really the ultimate security issue. Because if a country cannot feed itself, nothing else is going to happen. And so, and especially as I was conducting research on the Mexican populations who are buying new farms, they really fit more of the profile of previous European immigrant groups that came into the country that started farming. They don't fit the profile of what you would say the civil rights kind of African American profile of affirmative action, They don't. They really fit more of that traditional immigrant that had come to the country in the 1800s. So if you follow that profile, you're going to see these people on the farm for a minimum of 3 generations, the minimum of 3 generations, because that's what we also are seeing in the majority population. Three generations, 4th generation, they're leaving, they're getting other education, decided to really pursue other careers. So we really need to, in some ways, really capitalize on this population. And the other big industry in rural is processing, whether it be beef, whether it's vegetables, or whether it's canning industries, and on and on and on. They're now located in rural. The majority of those employees are typically immigrants, typically either from Mexico or from Guatemala and now Central America. And the foremen are Mexican Americans. The people who are managing these operations are typically Mexican Americans with educations coming out of colleges of agriculture and natural resources from Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California. So really the whole profile is really dynamics. In my opinion, has changed. So I can talk a lot more, but I'm hoping that's why I was interested in how do we have these conversations to expand the ground floor of what's happening in rural America, because now Mexican Americans are really in the suburbs and in rural. When you look at the data, that's where the majority of the populations are, and those are where it's growing.